In 2006, it was estimated that there were 11,555,000 illegal immigrants living in the United States. Today, that number is higher, and if the trend continues, that number will only continue to increase. From that 11,555,000, about 74% came from Hispanic countries, with 62% coming from Mexico. The other 12% was made up of people from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. Today, most illegal immigrants reside in California and Texas, but in the recent decades, Nebraska has seen a large increase in its illegal immigrant population, especially with the Hispanic population. Although it is nearly impossible to tell exactly how many illegal immigrants are living in the state of Nebraska, it is a fact that in the recent decades that number has increased dramatically, especially with the Hispanic population. Whether one agrees or disagrees with illegal immigrants, especially the Hispanic ones, entering the United States to make a new home, it is something that is affecting all Americans today, and it is something that all Americans should have proper knowledge on, especially since there are so many misconceptions and stereotypes surrounding Hispanic illegal immigrants. Currently, Nebraska has a foreign population between 5 and 6%. But this number is increasing rapidly. Nebraska now is in 7th place for the most immigrants. In 2006, the U.S. saw an average growth of about 16% for new immigrants, but Nebraska saw double that with an increase of 34% increase. Like was mentioned earlier, it is impossible to know exactly how many illegal Hispanic immigrants are living in Nebraska, but it is estimated that there are about 35 to 55,000 currently living in the state of Nebraska. I want to start off by asking a very important question that I really want all of you to consider. Why do illegal immigrants enter the United States? What is available to them here that isn't in their home country? To better understand this question, I spoke to Mimoy Baza, a paralegal who works directly with illegal immigrants every day. She gave me a lot of insightful information. The majority of illegal immigrants enter the United States to find employment, to escape wars, or to escape dangerous situations such as gang violence. Many come to find family members who've migrated here in the past, but all illegal immigrants enter the United States in hopes of finding a better life. I also asked her if she had any idea why so many were entering Nebraska, specifically the city of Omaha. She responded by saying that many hope to find employment here. Another important question that I would like to ask and that I would like all of you to consider is, what is the risk of entering the United States as an illegal immigrant? One of the major risks is death. About 350 Hispanics die every year trying to cross the United States illegally. And even if they do reach their destination, it is not all uphill from there. They are forced to work difficult jobs with extremely low pay and difficult conditions. And for the most part, they also live in rough conditions in which many times up to 15 people can live in a small 2-bedroom house together. Obviously, they don't make enough money to live comfortably, and a lot of the money that they do make they send back home to their families. And all while struggling to make in the United States, at any point in time they could be deported and sent back to their country after serving jail time in the States for breaking immigration laws. Deportation is also a big risk for all illegal immigrants, especially the Hispanic ones. But something that most people do not know is that a lot of immigrants bring small children and even babies with them who essentially grow up in the United States. Some do not even ever learn to speak Spanish and only speak English. But because they were born outside of the United States, they run the risk of getting deported as well. This is an issue that Mimoy brought up and could not stress enough. I quote, "I don't know how many cases I have seen of teenagers and young adults getting deported when they only spent a few years or even months in some cases in their original country." In 2006, the University of Nebraska-Lincoln conducted a poll in which they found that 56% of Nebraskans living in rural communities see Hispanic illegal immigrants in a negative way. There was not much difference in percentages regarding urban populations. although 30% of Nebraskans said that they did not care about immigration issues. And 60 to 70% of Nebraskans believe that there should be stricter policies surrounding illegal immigrants. Acculturation is the way in which immigrants integrate or do not integrate into their new communities. There are 4 different types of acculturation. There is integration, which means one takes in their new culture but does not forget about their original culture. There is assimilation, which is when one adopts their new culture but forget about their original culture. There is separation, which is when one maintains original traditions and does little to take in the new culture. And then there is marginalization, which is when one forgets their original culture but does not adopt the new culture either. This is an important concept because I believe it is why a lot of Hispanic immigrants are stereotyped against. For the most part, illegal immigrants who enter as adults completely separate themselves from the American culture. This can be seen through Hispanic areas of the cities, predominantly in South Omaha. Even the signs outside the businesses' doors are written in Spanish. If you want to order some food from South Omaha, you better speak Spanish or you're not getting any. The problem with the way in which Hispanic immigrants acculturate is that they do little to adopt the American culture, but still want to receive the benefits of living in the United States. Moving to a new country means giving and receiving, not just receiving. I am not in any way suggesting that illegal immigrants do not have anything to offer for this country, but I am saying that there needs to be more integration in their part. This would be beneficial for everybody because then Americans would get the chance to better understand the Hispanic population, and then maybe they would be more accepting of their cause. This could result in policy changes which would help immigrants out in the long run. Overall, the topic of immigration is something that is affecting all Americans, and therefore, they should educate themselves on the topic in order to not have misconceptions or stereotypes regarding illegal immigration. My goal here is not to change anybody's political stance or to change their mind on the issue, but simply to educate on the reality that most of these Hispanic immigrants face every day. Their struggle is something that more often than not goes unheard, but should be heard and appreciated by more people. Also, although I fully support Hispanic immigrants entering the United States, or any immigrants entering any country, I believe that Hispanic immigrants need to integrate into the American culture rather than separate themselves completely. I believe this to be true for anybody who is entering a new country. If you want to be part of it, you have to learn their culture as well, but still remain your traditions.